Dear friends, in this video I will continue discussing some rare openings, and I'll show you how to play Scotch with white pieces. I already recorded the video on this opening some months ago, and it was the video about my game. Now I want to make a deep analysis of this opening line. And let's start. The Scotch opening usually arises this moves order. After e4, e5, knight f3, knight f6, white plays d4, e takes on d4, knight takes on d4. This is the starting position of this opening line. And in this position, black usually tries bishop to c5 or knight to f6. Of course, there are many other moves, and we'll discuss it later. In this video, we're going to talk about knight f6 line. In my opinion, this is the most principal solution for black. Knight takes c6, b takes c6, and this is very problematical position for white. The main continuation here is the e5 move, then queen e7, pinning the pawn, queen e2, knight to d5. And here white tried many continuations like h4 with the idea to develop the bishop to g5, like g3 to trick black with moves order, like c4, the main continuation. In my opinion, black usually has enough counterplay, so I'd like to recommend this sideline. We'll play knight d2 in this position. Of course, it's not like the move there white is fighting for big advantage. It's a sideline where white wants to get very solid position with long-term advantage thanks to better white's pawn structure, and it can be practical and good for fast time controls. I think most of you usually play in fast time controls. I think in rapid and in blitz it will work perfectly. After knight d2, there are several moves to try with black pieces. Let's start with less principle. For example, d6. We can develop our pieces this way. b3. Please remember b3, bishop b2 idea. We will use it later. Bishop to b2, castle, castle, rook e8, rook e1, a5 fighting for the space, a4 stopping a5, a5, a4, knight d7, take on g7, h3. White is slightly better, very solid position. White keeps some chances for an advantage. Also, queen e7 is a possible move, but here it's bad. We can develop our pieces, d5, castle, and in the game black played g6, e takes d5, c takes d5, rook e1, bishop b6, bishop b5, with completely winning position for white. After the castle, d takes e4 is bad because of this very famous pin. Queen takes e4, rook e1, and queen is trapped. G6 also a possible move. Bishop d3, castle, castle, rook e1. Probably it will be transposition to the d6 system. And bishop b2 with pleasant play for white. So I think that after knight d2, there are two critical moves, and bishop c5 is one of them. It's a good idea to develop the bishop, not to clarify the pawn structure yet, and white has some moves to try. For example, e5 is possible move, or bishop d3 is a possible move. You can analyze that yourself if you are interested in these moves. I want to recommend you an interesting pawn sacrifice. It starts with knight b3. Now the bishop is under attack. Black needs to take the pawn. Knight takes c5, knight takes c5, bishop to e3. Now there is a choice. For example, after knight e6, bishop d3, d5, castle, castle, queen g4, a5, f4. We're gonna play f5 in the future, and in my opinion, this position is promising for white. White has a great compensation for a pawn. So there is another continuation. Queen to e7, queen to h5, attacking the knight once again. Now, in the game of two Iranian grandmasters, one of them played knight to e6, castle, a5, f4, g6, queen f3, and white's position is much better. We want to play g4, f5. We have great development advantage and great dark square bishop. We can use his weaknesses, g7, f6, h6. So that's why after queen h5, d5 is stronger. We can make a long castle, castle, bishop to d3, mate is coming, knight takes d3, rook takes d3, rook e8, rook to d1, rook b8, a3. And here I stop my analysis. I think that objectively, of course, this position is equal, but at the same time, it's much easier to play it with white's pieces. Okay, the first thing to say that in the positions with opposite color bishops, an extra pawn is not really important. Yeah, it's more important to have better king, and I think that, for example, after some preparation, white can start an attack on the black's king, and also this pawn is not really strong. So even if white's attack will not be successful, I'm not sure that black will have a great advantage because of his extra pawn. Anyway, it should be a draw. So yeah, that's my recommendation on bishop c5. It's very interesting, very rare, and I think you can surprise your opponent this way. Now we're gonna discuss the main black's continuation. In this position, usually black plays d5 idea, and we take it, take back, bishop to b5. That's important. We're gonna trade the light square bishops, bishop to d7, take, take, castle, bishop b7, and once again we develop our dark bishop on big diagonal, b3, a castle, a bishop to b2. The starting position of this variation, and I think that white has two plans. You can see the arrows. For example, the first plan is to develop the queen to f3, both rooks in the center, and then start an improvement of the knight, maybe knight f1, maybe knight g3, maybe knight f5. This is the first plan. Another plan is to bring the knight to f3, to transfer the queen to d3, put rooks in the center, and play c4. We have hanging pawns, c7 and d5. So, okay, it can be power in some variations. So, playing c4, we want to trade one of these pawns, and in that case, black will have an isolated pawn, and usually an isolated pawn is worse than hanging pawns. And black has many different continuations. Let's discuss. c5 is a very logical try for black in this position. We'll play queen to f3. And now in the game Ganguly against Shang in China, black tried queen to g4. And after rook e1, rook e8, rook d1, queen g6, c4, black's position became very unpleasant. Instead of queen g4, black can play rook f to d8, rook d1, rook b8, rook e1. You see, white's plan is very, very simple. Rook b8, knight f1. It's the time to improve the knight. Queen b7, g3, d4, exchange. And we can attack this pawn in the center, playing c3. White's position is slightly better, and black needs to show accurate play to reach a draw. Also, In this position, black tried rook f to e8. We are making the same things. Queen to f3, rook d1, queen g4, rook e1, exchange, knight e4, and after king f3, this endgame is very unpleasant. White wants to bring his knight to e5, then double his rooks on the e file, can be annoying. Also, c6. C6 is a good try for black. We can do the same plan. Rook d1, rook e1, knight to h7, queen d3. Now we want to play c4 and make him an isolated pawn. Bishop to f6. Exchange, rook e1, rook e1, c5, g3. Very close to be equal. Maybe white is slightly better because of the better pawn structure. I think that one guy played queen e5 against me. This move is not the best. Rook e1, rook e8, rook e5. You see the queen immediately came into attack. Queen g6, knight f3, c6, queen d3. White's position is better, and I won this game. I think, yeah, Villarreal Balagan, very experienced grandmaster, played knight g4 in this position, queen to f3, bishop to f6, exchange on f6, rook to d1, a5, a4, and he got the position which very close to be equal, but later anyway he lost this position. Rook e8. Anyway, it's playable. It's not like an immediate draw, and white can try to play it for a win. And in my opinion, in this position, white should be prepared for a5 idea. That's a typical positional solution for black. Black has weak pawn on the a file, and playing a5 and a4, black wants to trade it. Queen to f3, a4, rook e1, rook e8, h3, c6, rook e2, preparing doubling our rooks. Take, rook a1, bishop takes a1, h6, bishop d4, rook c8, queen f3, c5, exchange, queen f3, rook d8, and this position is equal. We can make improvement of our knight. We can play knight f1, and later we can deliver this knight to g3 to f5 or to f1, h2, and g4, and try to make some threats on the king side. That's all for today. I hope you like this video. I hope you like this opening system, and you'll try to play in your games. I'm pretty sure it will work good in fast time controls, because no one will be ready for this, or if someone will prepare for this anyway, this pawn structure is not so easy to play with black pieces, in my opinion. If you want, you can contact me for PGN file, and I'll be happy to see your likes and comments under this video. See you in the next videos, and good luck.